I was watching Dance Moms today with Ellie, which I'm a little embarrassed that I even gonna mention it. But I feel like I need to be like the dance mom coach. She is ruthless. Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Raising an Archer, and I'm here with my favorite host, Wendi Cook.
Hey guys.
We're doing this remotely again. She's angry. She's always angry when it comes to remote.
I'm not angry. I just don't like it at all.
At all. I know. I can tell. Y'all short with me. I can't even talk through the information with you. Well, the one thing we wanted to talk about today was, and the one thing I really do like about Wendi, and I say I like myself too about this. We're kind of open books.
Oh yeah.
And there's not much that we will not hide. You know, we'll share about anything. So the one thing we want to talk about was, and I kind of come up with this title called "My Child is Going to Be the Death of Me," and I think that kind of is fitting for this situation that happened. And the reason why we wanted to talk about it is because we've all been in this situation. And I guarantee you, what Wendi's going to talk about is stuff that I have done, and everyone here has done that's listening to this. Is your child pushes you to the limits.
My girl went toe to toe with me.
She did. At a practice.
And I guess she thought since it was at archery practice that I was just going to let it go. But no, I was not going to back down.
So tell us, so she was already, I think, there was something that happened the day before. She was frustrated already with some archery stuff. And then she goes on Saturday to our group practice.
Yeah, so we were at the shop, and it was 8 hours out there pretty much on the concrete, trying to get that bow settled in, and just trying so many different things, but she wouldn't eat. And she got pretty testy with you and with me, and I kind of just backed off that day and let you handle it. Which you're handling it was you just walked off. Okay, by the way, I don't do that.
I was watching Dance Moms today with Ellie, which I'm a little embarrassed that I even going to mention it, but I feel like I need to be like the dance mom coach. She is ruthless. It was so bad that Julia has never apologized to me, and there's never been really a situation that she's ever had to. But afterwards, she came up to me and was like, "I'm sorry for how I was acting out there."
And normally, and so she was even out there with Ryan. She really didn't attack him that day. I think it was like a week later she went off on him. But so I've always heard that you go off on those who are closest to you.
Right.
I don't really know, but it's kind of seems like because she had started having attitude with me, her father, her grandmother, which is my mom, even called me and said, "Hey, I don't know what's going on with your daughter," but I'm like, "Yeah, it's been happening." And so we've talked to her, and today it came back again, but
let's talk about the storm that was brewing before the incident happened.
Yeah, so she wasn't eating. She refused to eat, and then being out there 8 hours in the sun, and she wouldn't eat that day. You had even asked, "Hey, let's go get tacos," and no, I don't want any. And Ryan always tells her
late lunch or late breakfast. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean 9 o'clock. Maybe that's late, but that's probably late for us because we get up and get going for. The kids had to be at swim practice at 6 a.m. in the mornings during the summertime, and that's in Houston. So we normally eat an early breakfast. So 9 is probably a little bit late, but at 1 o'clock she should have been eating, and she didn't want to, and Ryan even says, he's gotten on to her, "Hey, have you eaten? Well, you're going to shoot like crap if you don't eat." And things just weren't going her way. And I should have made her eat. My fault right there. So the attitude crept in. She was a bear. Oh, that's putting it nicely. And I mean, just lashed out at whoever was around. So then we go into the next day where we're going to go to practice. So that must have been on a Friday we were at the shop. Then Saturday rolls around. We go to Joad practice. And I don't remember what was going on, but we were out front. We were between what would be like the media line and the shooting line. And she started having attitude. I had it at that point. And I wasn't backing down. And I'm not one to walk off. So right there in front of everyone, I normally, you have that mom growl. Well, you don't because you're a man, but or you grit your teeth and you kind of talk under you're yelling, but you're yelling quietly.
Right.
And I was trying that, and evidently it got to where it was not so quiet. And poor old Coach Joe, he comes out there like splitting us up and takes Julia off to the side. But I have always told my kids, your attitude means more to me than how you shoot. And I will go to the ends of the earth for you. I will, do whatever it takes to get you where you need to be, as long as you have the right attitude, meaning you're respectful, you're, kind to others, and you're helpful. And we were being everything but those things that day. So, and she had breakfast that morning. She had dinner the night before, but we also talk about nutrition and hydration at least 2 days before. And since she had already depleted all of that, those 2 meals and that amount of time wasn't enough time to hydrate. And then also, I don't know, a teen girl, what's going through their minds. I know I was a teen girl at one time, and my mom said that, I was a total terror with my attitude. You didn't know me back then. Don't even start judging.
Oh, no judging here.
There you go. So, I kind of lost my cool. I did not yell. I did not cuss. I didn't throw anything. Okay. I wanted to strangle her, but, not literally, but, yeah, there was that time. And then I was embarrassed. So, the Barebow recurve people, evidently they didn't know what was going on, because the next day I'm like, hey guys, I'm really sorry for how things went down. They're like, what are you talking about? Matthew Parmenter said, oh man, I hate that you had to see that. He goes, what are you talking about? What? She did what? You did what?
And I think you did. I wasn't there, but I think you did the right thing. No, you weren't. Like you did walk away, right?
Well, Joe took her. He had to come and intervene. Josie took Julia off to the side. Come here.
Which is
he was scared.
Which is our head coach for our Joad club.
Our Joad team, yes. And so at that point, when he took her away, I was, okay, I'm going to step back out here by the trees and try to compose myself, because then I was embarrassed that I lost my cool, which, I mean, again, not yelling, not cussing or any, not the extremes, but I generally try to wait until we're in private to have those conversations. And no, they were front stage. The only more front stage it could have been is if I had approached her on the shooting line. But she got in my face.
We could have got a mic out there for you.
Could have had me mic'd up. She got in my face, and I'm sorry, my 15-year-old daughter getting in my face, I'm not going to let that fly. And so all of the compound parents saw what was happening. And whenever I came back, I was apologizing. They're going, nope, you're good. But I still felt ashamed of myself that I let my temper get the best of me. So, just being honest and open out here that you were like, I don't think you're the only one. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever really seen it happen before. You know,
Yeah, I usually don't get phone calls. Like, I got a message from you just saying that Julie and I got in a big fight, which I was just like, oh, okay. You know, it
oh,
happens.
actually, no, if you
or
remember,
something.
Joe beat me to the punch.
That's
and
right.
Joe texted you said, Wendy and Julia are fighting.
That's
and that
exactly
was
what he
it.
typed.
That's
That's
all
what he
he
typed.
put.
I'm like, what is going on? And then you messaged me. I didn't even I don't think I had a chance to even message you at that point. And I'm like, what is going on?
So fighting, I'm thinking of people throwing punches. There was none of that. I didn't grab her arms. I didn't smack her. Nothing like that. We were toe to toe, nose to nose. I was trying to do it quietly, but evidently people could tell, meaning Coach Joe.
That there might have been
And,
some tension between the two of you.
Yes, there was some tension between the two of us, and I've thought about it. What do you do in those situations? Do you, I should have. What you have told me is that I should have walked off, and saved it for the ride home, because we do have an hour ride home. It's not a hop, skip, and a jump. But I didn't do that. I failed as an archery mom.
You did not
And
fail.
I'm like,
it happens.
okay, well, I felt like a huge failure as an archery mom, as an archery parent. I guess it's the teenage thing. I don't know, because what was it? A week later, she went off on Ryan, and I was so embarrassed. I lit into her just as soon as Ryan had gotten out of the vehicle. I lit into her, and then, it happened again today, but in our own home. And then her brother doesn't make it any better.
No, brothers don't.
We have some learning to do on how to interact. I don't know.
So I
need
think
a counselor.
I think it's a good topic, because I think we've all been there. If you're and I think this happens with probably all sports, but when it comes to a individual sport, I find myself, especially when Ryan was younger, I was having these emotional roller coasters with him, where I'm just like, oh, he's shooting so good. And then he starts shooting bad. And then I start getting frustrated. And what happens to the archer? They get frustrated because they're already frustrated that things are going awry. And next thing you know, I'm screaming at him, saying that, you know what, maybe we should just give up on archery. And I'm coming to the house.
Oh my gosh, I've
to,
said that so many times.
I'm like, I come inside, I'm ready to just kill somebody. And then I see Amy come around the corner, and she's just like, you need to stop wanting it more than him. And I'm just like, you're so obnoxious.
It's not that I want the good attitude. That's what I want. The winning is nice and everything, but the good attitude. I love it. I'll celebrate every, winning day, because I like to see her happy. I like to see Luke happy when he, has a great swim, when he qualifies for something. And, but the attitudes mean so much more to me. And that's something I don't know how to battle, because then whenever we have the bad attitudes, then it puts me in a bad attitude. I lose my focus, because
Right.
I'm so focused on that bad attitude that I don't know what to do from there.
Well, let me ask you. So let's go back to Saturday when you were, was going toe to toe. Was there a point when you realized, wait a minute, I need to walk away? Or
Oh, never.
Never.
I
You
said in
don't
the
walk
beginning,
away.
I don't walk away. So no, that never crossed.
It never
my
crossed your mind?
mind.
So for me,
when
Yeah.
Joe came and got her, and then it was like, oh, okay, let me go walk away now.
So that's when you know when
That's
when a coach comes and pulls the kid away for their safety.
Yes. I don't know whose safety it was for, but
I think it was hers. I know you.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
And I know
But
that.
you make it sound like I've hit my kid or
No,
something before.
no. Well,
It's almost like one of those, I brought you into this world, I can take you out of this world, and you better cut the crap. Maybe that's what.
I've made one of you. I can make another one.
That might kill me at my age, but anyway.
Yeah, maybe.
And do I want to go through that again?
No. And for me, for me, I can usually step back, and when I was younger, when Ryan was younger and we were going toe to toe, I could pinpoint exactly after the fact. It was very easy to I see where I kind of crossed the line. I just needed to back away, step away, walk away.
See, like with Steven, I can walk away. I can turn around and walk away. You know what? You can sit there and argue all you want to. But for some reason, because I'm the parent and you are 15 years old, you are not going to act this way towards me. You're not going to talk to me this way. I'm like, yeah, there's no walking away there. I don't know what the difference is other than, you're the child. You're going to listen to me.
So was there any, after that incident, was there any issues with your relationship with Julia? I mean, were you still frustrated with her, angry? How did you guys resolve that? Because I think that's one thing too, is you got to have resolution, or it's just going to continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Answer to that is yes and no, because I think she realized that she played a big part in that. And did she want me to walk away? Yes. But she played a big part of that. It was that neither one of us were backing down. But I think she did realize that, she is my child. Part of it, she didn't want to admit that, and then part of the problem is that she is my child. So she's a big part of me. But then we met with you the next day. And, of course she felt like it was, she was being ambushed, and I was like, hey, no, it was not an ambush. It's kind of, she's like, well, then it was an intervention. Yeah, probably so. This is more like an intervention. And then we did, talk about things that, yes, I will need to walk away, but she can't follow after me. She can't have that attitude. There was a plan. We also came down to nutrition plan, to try to help in, front loading the part of that. And, but having a plan just in case we ever do find ourselves in that situation again. And, is it going to be easy for me to walk away the next time? No, it's not. And it's one of these things that's in the back of my mind. I'm going like, you know what? I'm going to try it one time. It's not going to work, but I'm going to try it one time.
It took a while. It took a while for Ryan and I. It's like at this point in our relationship, he's older. It's so easy going with him. He's having a bad day. I don't mess with him. It's just like
that's what I told her.
He's on his own.
He's one of the most easygoingest people I know. And you lashed out at Ryan. I can't believe that. I'm so embarrassed of you, what you did. And
and I just remember being at a range, and Amy says, walk away. And so he something happens, I say something, he says something back, and I literally just turned around and walked away and went to the car without any words. And it killed me. I'm just sitting out there, and I'm stewing too. It's like I'm getting madder as I'm sitting in the car. And after a little while, all of a sudden, there's somebody tapping on my window, and he actually says, "Can you come back in?" And I'm like, wow. And we went back. Great practice at that point. I'm not going to say that was the last time that happened. I had to walk away multiple times, but it got quicker where he was just like, okay, no. I would just stop, and he knew when I stopped talking, that was it. And he would be like, I'm sorry, I will. It's like he was baiting me.
I don't think we've gotten to that point yet, because she has never apologized. And that's what gets me, is that it makes me, when she doesn't apologize, makes me feel like she doesn't believe she did anything wrong.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
you're just going to walk away. And that's the part of the walking away that bothers me, is that, hey, I've got a point to make, and that you know, your actions right now are wrong. And by walking away, I almost feel like I'm going, okay, I'm going to let you go ahead and act this way, and you just do you, boo. And I'm going to go sit over here and, just let you be that way. And
well, I
I
think that
don't,
there has to be, like you were saying, there has to be this upfront conversation. If I walk away, that means that there's an issue. And
right.
if you want this relationship to continue where mom's taking you to practice and mom's doing all this, that means that you're going to have to come back and apologize. There has to be some type of conversation on that. I remember one of our moms, and I've told this story before, but we were in a tournament. We're halfway through, maybe not even halfway through the tournament, and all of a sudden, I see some commotion going on between one of my archers and mom, and she just walked up, grabbed her stuff, and they started walking out, and I'm just like, "Hey, where you guys going?" She's like, "I'm not about to stick around and listen to this attitude." And
See, and
so
that's me.
literally pulled her
Nope,
off
load it
the
up.
line.
I'm taking your stuff.
She's like, there's consequences for her actions,
Yeah.
and what it is she's not going to finish the tournament, and she's not going to, and she's going to lose. And
Yep.
the daughter was crying at that point, and she didn't want to leave, and they walked out. And I can tell you that attitude, I'm just assuming because I'd never seen her do it again, but it was a much much different kid on the line. And I think that sometimes you have to be very drastic. You know what? You're going to have an attitude, pack your stuff, let's go, and you follow through with it,
Absolutely. That's where I was that day. I think that's when Joe came up, because I said, you know what? You can pack your bow up, or I will. But one way or another, we're packing up and we're leaving, because you are not going to shoot with this kind of attitude. I will not be out here and have you act this way. And that's when Joe came up. It's like, I take Julia, come over here. I take Julia over here.
And I got to tell you, it is embarrassing. I mean, I've done it. You've done it. We talk about it on our podcast, and we can't even follow our own stuff sometimes. Like, we know that we want to. We can't own it more than them, but we still, for some reason, they suck us in, right?
And she and I did, on that hour drive home that day, we did talk, and this is the day of and the day before we came back and talked to you. But I said, you know what? I'm gonna put my hand on your wrist. She goes, Mom, you're gonna hurt me when you're mad like that. It was like, have I ever hurt you? No, but when you were that mad, I figured you were gonna hurt me. I said, well, if I haven't in 15 years, I'm not gonna start now. But so I'm gonna put my hand on your wrist, and at that point, you're gonna know you need to drop it. You need to stop. The attitude needs to stop. Whatever you're saying needs to stop. It all needs to stop. And at that point, we both let it, until it's time to talk about it later, whenever we're not in public.
Kind of like when you give me the look, when you give me that look when we're talking,
yes.
and I know, I better stop.
But with you, I get quiet. With her, I don't get quiet.
You get quiet. And you have a look.
Normally, yeah, you normally know, because I get quiet, but I don't get quiet when it comes to her. I'm like, no. I am the parent. I'm going to have the last say, not you. I'll let you just keep on going.
So what do you
I
think?
don't know why. We had this discussion. I don't know why it's different with her, other than you are my child. She, meaning her, that she is my child, and, you're another adult. So whatever you do. But
yeah, part of that conversation was, and it sounds like she hasn't done this yet, but like, there's always fault on both sides, and part of it is you got to figure out how to repair that relationship quickly, and part of that is apologizing.
Right, and that day I did. I went to her, and right there in front, I didn't even take her away or anything, but when she came back to the archers area, and on practice day, it's it's everybody sitting underneath the big white tent. And I told her that I was sorry for, losing my cool and that I'm an adult, that I should not have, I don't know, shouldn't have lost it or whatever it was, and that I was sorry for that. She just goes, okay. I let that go. I did not engage. But
So how
parenting's tough.
I know. So is there any recommendation to you? So in that situation, I know I do really appreciate that you're sharing this, because I don't think many would want to, but like I said, you and I will share everything. We don't care if it'll help you guys.
Well, and then exactly, that's exactly what I was going to say, is that, if you've been listening, or if this is your first time to listen, then that's something that I have said. So if you go back and listen to any recordings, is that we wanted to do this to help others. And so if it does help you in a situation, maybe you've had that before, maybe you haven't. But if you haven't, then, God bless you. And, I hope it doesn't. But, I don't know any child that is just an angel their entire life. But the one thing, and it's the one thing that's the hardest for me to do, and I would imagine would be hard for lots of parents, is that walk away. It's either walk away or load it up and go home and try again another day.
And I think you're right. I think I agree. The walk away is very tough, but I think it's the right answer.
Because if not, it just escalates. And that's what it was doing. It was just escalating and getting bigger and bigger. And I probably would have gotten louder and louder, and then probably would have just loaded up her stuff. And that's how the progression would have gotten, because I'm not a violent kind of person. If anything, I'm going to get loud. But that's just it. But you don't want to say something that you don't mean. And I don't know that I've ever done that to my children, but it could possibly happen. And I don't want to say that it will never happen, because just like something you posted the other day, I think it had Michael Jordan on it, but I've always said, don't ever say never, because that's the first thing that you're either going to do or the first thing that's going to happen. So walking away is probably the best thing to do. It's probably one of the hardest things to do. It's either walk away or load it up. And I don't mean, you know what, just get in the car, I don't even care anymore. And throwing
grab
things.
your
That's crap
not and let's go.
But probably like, hey, you know what? We've talked about this, and we talked about that the consequence would be loading it up, and we're going to do that. We're going to load it up, and we'll try again another day. Is probably the best two options. If you're not the kind to walk away, then load it up, calmly load it up. If you want to stick around, then and you two can split, and one can walk away and the other one do their thing, and you can let it go, then that's the other option. I haven't had to try these out yet, because she hasn't done it again at archery. She'll even tell me, I've been having a pretty good attitude today. Part of me wants to go, yeah, you better. But I don't say that.
And I think one of the important things to point out is that you have to you need to have that game plan in place beforehand. So you have that conversation.
Absolutely. We didn't have a game plan beforehand. She'll have an attitude, but I can pull her to the side and do that low growl yelling under my, in a low tone. And she will normally, work on it a little bit, or at least not show her attitude too much. She'll hide it a little bit, and we can get through things, but not that day. And so we didn't have a game plan for when it came to that. And so now we do. And that's another thing about having a coach. If you have a coach that you can talk to that will help you through that, then that's something too. I mean, you're not a life coach, but yet being an archery coach and being a parent at the same time, where, you've said, we've gone through this before, then, and it might possibly be that if you have a coach that doesn't have kids or hasn't gone through that with an archer, then maybe that coach would help you to find someone. But that, it really helped us. We got in the car. I knew I needed a game plan at that point, and so we worked on one. But then the next day we came in and talked to you and worked on several plans. We worked on the nutrition, the hydrate, which we knew about the hydration, but the nutrition has been a big hang up with her. And so we talked about the nutrition. We talked about what had happened and how we were going to work on that. And so
I was more of a mediator at that point. Well, the one thing I will tell you is that Wendy and I did talk beforehand, and we kind of came up with a game plan together. Not that we were ganging up on her at all. As she said we were ganging up. We did not come to that conversation at all in a way that way. What I did was I just said, hey, why don't you tell me what happened and how we could do this better, And then that conversation kind of flowed at that point. The one thing I've learned is that I can't come in and just say, I need you to do this, 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 and this. What I've learned is when I walk in and I say, hey, so what are some ideas that you have that we could do this differently? She came up with some of the ideas, and then we just kind of ran with those ideas, knowing that those were the right answers. We led the witness is what we did, and had her come up with it. And she started, and once she came up, if we came in and said, you need to stay hydrated, you need to, really watch what you're eating right before you shoot, and things like that to make sure your blood sugar is not spiking. She would have probably put her heels into the sand a little bit. But when we started talking to her saying, what do you think would be best? She even came up with the types of foods that she should be eating beforehand. And so at that point,
and she came home and she came home and she owned it. It was not something that just happened there at the shop. Whenever she came home, she researched foods, what the sugar content was in them. We have to, because of some health issues that she has to drink Gatorade Zero or Powerade Zero, and she has to drink it all the time. But she loves Body Armor. So she was checking to see the sugar content and those. And now she has found one, and she and I love it. There's a new one. And I want to say it's like strawberry lemonade, but it's light. And so it doesn't have all the sugar, and so it's a great flavor, and now she and I look for it in the stores. But she looks for what kind of food. She will ask me, Mom, I know I'm not having the best day, but after the tournament, and I don't have a tournament tomorrow, can we go get ice cream? And we'll go through, and she'll get a small. And so she knows that she can. We've talked about that she can have things in moderation, because I'm not going to, be a mom of a teenager and go, no, you can't have A, B, and C, because that's going to be the things that she wants. But I'm really proud. I mean, and she even said, before the tournament, I need to eat at this time. And then at end such and such, I need to eat. But you know what, Scott? This is because of you. It just now hit me. Whenever we had the TSAA outdoor, and she was having a fit about me eating. Well, looky there, Scott. That was because of you.
You're welcome.
Because we made sure she and I both had coolers. We both had snacks and everything. So we went in with the game plan of, all right, this is yours. This is what you're going to have at this time. She picked out the snacks and everything beforehand. And she would tell me, I had a snack at end such and such. I've had so many waters. I've had 5 waters and we're only at the half. I've had, I went and I got lunch. And so I'm really proud of her. She has been doing that for all of the tournaments since then. And I don't know that she did that very well at Buckeye. I believe we tried. I did make sure that she had the stuff, but I don't know that I think it was like a bigger tournament, so it was more stressful. And she was not around a lot of people that she knew. And I don't think she was as mindful of taking care of herself at that one. But then when we came back home and we had TSAA outdoor, we had TFAA 900, we had the TSAA tots, and at all three of those tournaments, she took care of making sure she had the right stuff. Or I would make sure she had it, but she would tell me what she needed and what times that she was going to have it. And I made sure that it was there for her because, judging, then she had to take care of herself for TSAA. And the other two tournaments, she just had it and she would just get it. And I didn't really have to do anything. She was very mature about it. And again, owned her nutrition plan.
It does sound like the Wendy's went off on a rabbit trail. I always try to reel her in because she's the one that usually goes off on the on these little tangents.
Well, no, I was tied in, Scott. Because
I know. I was about to tie it in. You just stole my thunder. But go ahead.
Because that was part of our talk when we sat down with her. That's what's one of the things that we saw. That was one component. Was that she was not eating. She wasn't eating the right things. It was too far in between. And so it was affecting the, I don't want to say mental state, like she's mentally unhealthy, but being an athlete, you have to have those things for your body and your mind. She does have, she talks to Penny for her mental coach. So these are all part of it. If we let one of those things go, and she had let the food part go, and that affected a lot that was going on with her.
So yeah, let's recap real quick. If our kids reel us in, we walk away. But if you step back just a little bit, there's usually something else that's causing it, which is what we find, especially with young kids, is they don't eat. That when they're competing,
Yes.
they don't like to eat. This was not a thing. Like when I've always played sports, you don't eat in the middle of sports. Archery is a little different. You have to keep your blood sugar consistent all the way through. And so when they're practicing and they're getting frustrated,
the same with swimming, they have to eat.
Yeah, it's an individual sport, which is on them to make sure that they keep all those, keep the sugar levels at a consistent level and making sure that you got the protein that you need to get, because these shoots are long and practices are long. I mean, when this first incident happened, where she was kind of losing it, we'd been practicing probably 5 hours at that point. And it all of a sudden hit both of us like, she needs food. We got to get her some food. And we just kind of ended everything at that point because we both got into this mode of like, let's go. Like, we got to fix this. We got to, we got to. It was really,
right.
It was just a
Time's
downhill.
limited. So
it was a downhill spiral. It was not coming together and it was just not a good situation. So we both learned from that. And we wanted to share that with you guys so that you guys can, I will put money down that every one of you that's listening to this will have the same. There'll be an incident, maybe not as bad, maybe worse. I don't know, but we're trying to help you guys get through these situations that we've already, learn from us. Because I guarantee you, Wendi and I
learn from my mistakes.
Learn from my
mistakes. I make plenty, by the way.
we all do. We all do, and I do.
I am not the perfect mom. I can promise you that.
And I really do appreciate you, Wendi, for sharing that. I know it's not, most people don't want to share that type of stuff, but it's pretty cool that you can. And
it was out there in the open.
It's hard to share that one
at a tournament.
Hard not to share that one. I mean, there was a few that saw it and witnessed it.
Yeah. Yes, and you know what? My compound parents have never thrown it back up in my face.
No, they wouldn't because they've all been there.
You lost it.
They've all been there. Are you kidding me?
Oh my goodness! But I feel free to check in on me anytime. Like, hey, Cook, you doing okay? Well, as a teacher, we all go by just last names. Cook, you doing okay? Hey, Wendi, you doing all right? Yeah, that will be fine. Or if you have any questions, what worked, what didn't work, and you know what works for me
Share with
may
us.
not
Yeah,
work for you.
share with us because
but
we're learning too.
Yes, that's right.
Every kid's different. Every situation
right.
is a little different.
Absolutely.
Trying to make sure that we stay ahead of it, and even when we have incidents in practice, we pull the kid to the side and just let's talk through it, because especially the young ones, they'll lose it, and you just got to figure out how to handle it the best way. Always easier to handle someone else's kid, but that's why it's nice that Wendy's sharing as she's sharing. But again,
That's right. Sharing is caring.
yeah, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, and we will catch you guys at the next target.
All right, that's it for this episode of Raising an Archer.